18 WJTS Sports presents the Barr Reeve Vikings versus the Jasper Wildcats. This game is brought to you by Carpet Warehouse, DuBois County Tire and Supply, Eubler & Sons, DuBois County Cares, and Mariners Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Now let's go down to the court.
Welcome to Jasper High School. Tonight, the Jasper Wildcats back in action again here at home against the Barr Reeve Vikings. The Wildcats 4-11 on the season against the Barr Reeve Vikings, ranked number 1 in 1A at 16-2. Hello, everybody. I'm Craig Schneider along with Jason Stamm and Jeremy Markos on the video. And first of all, Jason, just sit back and look. We've got fans in the stands.
It's nice to see, Craig.
Oh, man. The band's here and everything.
Yeah,
students.
Students are here, the band. Barr Reeve's got a good crowd. We've got a good crowd again. It's a pleasure to get to see that again.
Right, absolutely.
It's not something, you kind of took it for granted for all those years, and then all of a sudden it's gone, but now it's back, so hopefully it'll stay.
Absolutely. So, yes, they're allowing 1,200 tickets that they sold tonight. So it looks like a good crowd. We probably sold all those. So again, students are here, the band's here. We heard music, and it's basically high school basketball back where it needs to be. So
don't forget the cheerleaders. The
of course, the cheerleaders
and the dance
out
team
there,
are back
dance
too.
Team, everybody.
Everybody's back in action.
Yes. All right, so we're taking on a Barr Reeve team here, Jason. Like I said, ranked number 1 in 1A, and the coaches poll, which basically ranks all teams regardless of the class. They're ranked 7th in the state. And, looking at their roster, their 2 losses actually came against Carmel, who is ranked number 4, and they're a 4A school. And then you've got Fort Wayne Blackhawk, who's a 2A school, and they are currently ranked 5th in that coaches poll. So, again, Barr Reeve, and both those games that they lost were in overtime. So, again, this is a Barr Reeve team that's pretty dominant when you take a look at as far as, they're a 1A school. They dominate the blue chip. We know all that, but they've played them, they basically have held their own against some of the top teams in the state.
They have. They've kind of upped their schedule a little bit this year, and played a little bit better competition, and it's going to pay off for them in tournament time, there's no doubt. And, I mean, like you said, they've held their own against those schools, so we definitely got our work cut out for us tonight. This is a game where we just got to worry about ourselves.
Right.
We got to get better as a team, do the things that we need to do that will help get the job done.
All right, so Barr Reeve with the basketball to start things off. Caden Graber is number 10. He's got the basketball right now. Their other starters include number 22 is Bryson Graber, who misses that three-point shot. Number 30 is Devin Graber, so 3 Grabers starting on the team. Hagen Neff is 34, and, of course, Kurt Hope, former Forest Park Ranger, number 42 in the middle for the Barr Reeve Vikings, as Berger, who hits the three-pointer there. He scored double figures against New Albany, so hopefully his shooting touch continues on tonight. That's a good start for the Cats, leading 3-0.
Yeah, that's kind of the way he came out to start the New Albany game. He come out hitting the outside jumper, and was just watching a little action there. Hof cut down through the middle, and he had bodies all over him. So I think that's kind of what the plan is to, put a body on him, bump him around, and he's a big kid. It's not going to bother him. But, I think that's kind of the plan, is to make him work for everything that he gets.
Absolutely. So the shot doesn't go in there. So the Wildcats still up 3-0, 6:33 on the clock here, just underway. As Graber drives to the basket, that's Bryson. He gets his first 2 points of the ball game, and Barr Reeve on the board, still trailing the Wildcats 3-2.
And I'm not sure which one it is. I think it's Bryson Graber, the true point guard. That he's a nice player. I remember him from last year and the year before. I think he set the assist record for Barr Reeve, and I think he's right up there, like second or something in the state career-wise. And it helps when you've got guys like the O'Neill kid that graduated at USI now, and you've got Hof, as Day hits a 3 there. But, it helps when you got guys like that to pass the ball too. So, like I said, he's a very nice player. I like the way he plays the game, and I think he's a 3-year starter for him. So,
all right, so the pass goes down low, and Gus just a little out of position there, so he commits the foul. And again, that's the matchup you'll be looking at all night. Again, Kurt Hope, 6'9", against Gus Heichelbeck.
Well, what they did there, Craig, is they reversed the ball quick and they caught Gus on the wrong side. When they got the ball reversed, it left him open, and Berger tried to help down with him on that, and that's no match, and Caleb picked up the foul there.
All right, so the foul does go on Berger. 6-5's our score. Cats have hit 2 3-pointers.
Ernie was open on that back cut, and we didn't see him, didn't get him the ball.
Day's short on that jumper, so Graber comes down with it. And Bryson Graber now, he'll attack. He kicks out to Devin Graber, and his 3-pointer is good. So Cats had an early lead, but now Vikings have taken the leads 8-6.
You can't panic here. You just got to stay within yourself. Keep doing the things that you were doing down there on the offensive end. Oh, that could have been an offensive foul.
Right.
Kind of let it go, but resulted in a turnover instead.
And Nepp tried to throw that long pass over to Hope. He's not able to handle that. And speaking of Hope, he's their leading scorer on this team. And the numbers I had through Max Preps had only 10 games, but they were showing he's averaging around 19. It might even be higher than that because actually you take a look at some of the games, like, they're blowing out certain teams like, your Wood Memorials, your Shoals, and everything else. But, they beat Castle 61-54 the other night. Hope had 25 points and 10 rebounds in that game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously with his size and his ability, he's going to, against some of those smaller schools, he's going to, as Jasper throws the ball away again, but, he's going to rack up some points against some of the smaller schools. He's a D1 commit. I think he's committed to play at Bellarmine, which Bellarmine's just this is their first year of competing D1.
Okay.
But they got a nice program. He'll be a nice addition for them. But at one time I was looking online at some of the leading statistics in the state, and it was scorers, rebounders, and things like that. And there's a nice move by Dave, being aggressive, going to the bucket. But Hope wasn't listed in like the top 40 in rebounds, average rebounds. And it's like, how can you be that big and yet not, be
dominate
the top?
The boards.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially against some of the competition that they play, because they play in the blue chip conference, which they absolutely dominate. However, Lagode's got a good team. They've knocked them off, but I'll tell you, actually their closest game in the conference was just recently. They beat North Davies 39-38.
Hope hit that three from the corner. But yeah, I mean, their sectional's not going to be a given, because Lagode, I guarantee you, that Lagode Barr Reeve game in the sectional, whenever it is, whether it's a first round, second round, final game, it will be a dogfight, because Lagode's going to, I don't know, they call it traveling.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I thought maybe he was stopping the action to get the players in.
Well, I don't know.
That's strange. I think that's what he did. Yeah, they did stop the action to get the substitutions in, because they still got the game. I don't know if that's a COVID type thing.
Well, I don't know either, but he motioned traveling.
Yeah.
And then he just explained to Coach Gable that it wasn't a timeout. It was basically keep moving but let the subs in.
Sure. All right, so Bryson Graber with the basketball, going one-on-one against Ernie. And then there's a three-pointer hit in the corner by Graber. So they are popping their threes. That's 3 of them they've hit now. 16-8, Vikings lead the Wildcats.
And what they do is they've got Bryson Graber, the point guard's a good penetrator, and he penetrates, and then when we help off, that's leaving the other guys outside the three-point line wide open. And, so far they've been able to hit those. So we're going to have to make an adjustment with that, there's no doubt. Day's left wide open.
Yeah, Day is just really finding his game. I was going to talk about it at the outset. He's been struggling a little bit with scoring. Only had 5 against New Albany. He's still the Wildcat leading scorer, but he's got a big night going with 8 points in this quarter. 16-11, Jasper trails. Hope has it down low.
Foley's in guarding Hope now, so they get a little more athleticism on him.
And size. 6'5", and a good defensive play there by Foley.
Very good play.
All right, 16-11. Jasper's trailing with $1:43 on the clock here, first quarter.
Allbrand's also in the game, I think. Yeah. Berger and Heichelbeck came out.
Oh, yeah, Dave he was throwing to an open space where there was nobody there, but Foley had to throw it back in.
Foley made a heck of a play just to get it back in.
He did. Hey, that ball goes off number 22, Bryson Graber. So Cats continue to work their substitutes. Didn't get a chance to see who the Cats starters were, which were Day, Ernie, Berger, Goodhue, and Heichelbeck. But now you've got Heim in the ball game. You got Berger coming back into the ball game. Spencer Englert's out there. Also Allbrand. And looks like he's going to give Day a break here with 1:25 to go.
Got five subs in, no starters.
With Foley out there. So, all right, we'll see what the Cats can do with this final 1:20. But they sat down Isaac Day, who's leading him with 8 points right now.
Here's where you want to work clock a little bit. You know, you've got 5 guys in there that didn't necessarily start the ball game, and you don't want to rush things. There's a good shot fake. Probably should have shot it.
Let's see right there, Allbrand tried to get over to Berger on the quick exchange, but it gets knocked out of bounds, but Jasper will hang on. We got 1 minute to go here, Jason. And you know, the thing is with the team that's on the floor right now, there's no real primary scorer other than maybe Berger.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So that's why I say you want to be patient here. You know, work for a good shot. If you get it, you want to shoot it.
Sure.
But you also don't want to just go in there and he's going to get 3 seconds.
Yeah. Oh, you got away with that, but
I think the referee was worried about counting to 5. Forgot about 3.
All right, so Heim was able to recover there as he got the ball knocked away, got it into Foley's hands. He gets the shot up. It is fouled. So with 40.7 to go, Foley's going to step to the line. And Vikings still lead 16-11 over the Jasper Wildcats.
Pretty clean first quarter, 1 foul apiece.
Right. Connor misses that free throw.
I got Jasper for 4 turnovers and Barr Reeve for 3, so that could be improved.
All right, second foul shot is true, so 4-point game now, 16-12, 38 seconds to go. We'll see if Barr Reeve continues to.
We don't want to give up a big shot here and let him hit a 3 to end the quarter.
All right, three-pointer shot there by number 24, Jamison Miller. Now Cats have a chance. We got 26 seconds. Good job there by Allbrand to back up.
Yeah, that was very wise move. Didn't have the numbers, pulled it back out. Now we can work it for the last shot.
Right. So it's a 4-point game, 16-12. Jasper right in it. Again, against a powerful Barr Reeve team ranked number 1 in 1A. Drive to the basket, kick out. That's a good shot for Allbrand. Just misses, though. So Cats got a great look there. And again, Allbrand, who's hit the three-pointers all year, but unfortunately doesn't go. But Barr Reeve leads the Wildcats 16-12 after 1 here on 18 WJTS. Here at Jasper High School, the Wildcats trailing the Vikings of Barr Reeve 16-12. And, you know, this Barr Reeve game, I don't necessarily know if we call it a rivalry or not, but, you know, obviously a lot of people interested in this ball game. The Wildcats have played them. This is their 7th meeting since 2015. We played them every year since then, but just a 1-5 record during that stretch. And actually in the past, I went back and did like 97 to 2000 season, so we played them 5 times there, and we had a 2-3 record against them back then. So as Day comes back in and continues on. But it's, you know, it's a game that's just every year draws a lot of interest, really.
Yeah, it is. You know, you're going to have a formidable opponent every year when you put them on the schedule, and it's calling for the travel there. But yeah, like I said, you know you're going to have a good opponent, and it's always a good ball game.
Sure.
It's a fun game. You know, there's always, well, even this year, there's always been good atmosphere for it. You know, people come out to watch Barr Reeve as well as to watch Jasper play. So it's always an exciting time.
Berger sets up for the 3, doesn't go. There comes Barr Reeve the other way. That's Bryson Graber with it. And the other thing, too, is that, you know, playing it here, you know, early to mid-February, right before the tournament starts, kind of gives you a chance to really see where you measure up, because Barr Reeve's always got big players, experienced players and all that. So it really tells the Wildcats, how they might fare once they get into that postseason tournament.
Yeah, it does. It's a good measuring stick.
Right. All right, so Graber in the lane gives it up to Hope, and Hope's called for travel here. So
that's 2 travels on him, 2 trips down the floor.
Right. So the footwork is being eyed by the officials. We talked about that this year, whether that's more of a point of emphasis. All right, so the Vikings still have the lead, but Jasper trailing by only 2, 16-14 here on 18 WJTS. All right, Cats with the basketball after the timeout, trailing by 2 right now, 6:25 to go here in the first half. Jasper led by Isaac Days, 10 points, 10 of their 14. Mooney in the ball game, and he doesn't hesitate. Again, he's got that green light because he can hit that 3-point shot. Graber drives.
That was good help side there.
Yes. Mooney going straight against Hope, gets it up and scores. Wow, what a play by Carter Mooney. Man, he would, again, I know he plays JV minutes, but this is a varsity basketball player right here, Jason.
Yeah, he did a good job of attacking. He didn't back away from the contact and took it right at him and got a foul committed on Hove. I've seen some of their box scores before, and Hove has a tendency sometimes to get in some foul trouble.
Yeah.
And that's the way you got to do it right there, is take it at him.
Gus is pounding with him, so Gus, again, an offensive lineman for the Jasper Wildcat football team, just really being physical with number 42. I think that's what the plan is all night. Foley's been on him as well. And we got another travel. So Barr Reeve having problems with turnovers right now. They've yet to score, 5:42 to go here in the second quarter, and they've yet to score their first bucket of the second quarter.
Yeah, and we're doing a good job on the defensive end, and it's leading to, some good shots down on the offensive end.
So Cats lead 17-16 with 5:29 to go. Handoff to Day. Day's taking advantage of his quickness against Hope. It kicks back. Mooney with a little teardrop. Look at this. Carter Mooney. Not even 3 minutes into the ball game, 5 quick points for him. 19-16. Jasper with a 3-point lead against the number 1 team in the state in 1A. Hope, though, changes things with a 3-pointer. And he only shoots about 1 or 2 a game, but he's hit 2 of them already tonight.
Yeah, I was going to say he shot his 2 for the game already. Then he should be done.
19-19, 4:51 to go. And both these teams hardcore man-to-man defenses. Good feed into Gus. Gus with great position, puts it up and in, but a nice job by Day to feed him.
Very nice interior passing there by Isaac. He saw.
Well, we got a foul down low. This is going to, go on Goodhue.
Yeah, I think on Gus.
Oh, Gus got that one? Okay.
I think so.
All right, 21-19, Jasper with a 2-point lead. First foul on Gus. Both teams have been whistled for a couple. Knepp with the basketball, and that is Tanner Ernie. Cats playing with a ferocious defensive mindset tonight.
And that's what it's going to take, to have success.
Well, and that's the thing. Let Kurt Hope shoot 3-pointers all night. I know he's hit a couple, but
that's what he wants to do, There's Ernie's got a nice take to the basket, nice shot. Hope likes to settle for that. Without getting into all that stuff that went on when he left Forest Park,
right.
But, he wanted to be an outside player. And, at that size, at the high school level, you need to be inside. And it goes back to what we were talking about with the rebounding,
Right.
He doesn't, I don't know what he average rebounds a game, but it ought to be, a lot.
Well, and the thing is, the college game is an inside-outside game, so, yeah, you're going to have to extend for that perimeter shot, but for the most part, you're still going to have to post up and battle down low, which he does a nice job there and gets that shot up and in, so Hope.
And you're going to get beat sometimes, like Gus did there. And when you get beat, just let him go. Let him score. Don't foul. And he did a good job of that. He didn't commit a dumb foul. you got a basketball player of that caliber, and Gus is trying to guard him. He's going to win sometimes.
Right.
And that's exactly what happened there. He won the battle for position, and it's okay.
Sure. 23-21, Jasper with the lead. 2:50 on the clock as the screen set there for Ernie. Gus, though, sets for a three. He can pop it. Good job there by Gus. So he's got 5 points in the quarter, 5 in the ball game, and the Cats now with their biggest lead of 5 points, and we got another foul down low.
They're going to call
this
that
one's going to go on Gus.
Yeah, and that's where we got to be careful. You've got some bodies to run in there, and that's exactly what we're doing now. We're going to put Foley back in.
Yeah.
And that's what you got to do. You got to try to wear him out. Keep bodying him, keep pushing, get him to where he gets aggravated.
So now the matchup is Foley against Hope, and Hope, a Division I basketball prospect, and Foley, many saying possibly a Division I football prospect as a tight end.
Yeah, Hope's bigger size-wise, but he's not going to push Foley around.
Height-wise, but
yeah,
Connor's 6'5" and pretty stocked himself.
Connor's going to stay right in there and battle. I can guarantee him on that.
He gets beat though there, but actually good recovery and help down low. But the Vikings hang on.
Yeah, they got lucky. They got the lucky bounce there.
So a battle tonight. 2 minutes to go, and we've got an offensive foul this time.
Yeah, he's illegal screen they got on Hope that time.
So that's 2 fouls on him. So we'll see if they make that substitution.
I would think they would probably go to get him out so he don't pick up his third, but I'd go right at him here.
All right, so that's a decision Josh Thompson, who's in his 3rd year at Barr Reeve, makes right now.
I'd work that ball into Foley and make Hope play defense.
All right, so we're getting a little whistle happy now with the officials calling some fouls here. So 4 fouls on the Vikings, 3 on the Wildcats. That's the second one called on number 44. That is Tyson Knepp, if that's correct. Yeah, Tyson's out there, right.
It's probably a Knepp or a Graber.
Yep.
It's probably a pretty good guess.
If you're Graber, you're starting on this team. They got 3 Graber starters.
3 seconds on Mundy.
All right, so 3 seconds in the lane.
He was in there for a long time before he passed it, but after he passed it, he never got out.
Yeah.
And that's where they got him for it.
Now, that's the thing with Josh Thompson. He's really just enjoying the fruits of coaching at Barr Reeve. Won a semi-state in 2019, sectional last year, and who knows how far they would have gone. But
yeah, he took over up there at an opportune time. There's no doubt.
Yeah, because he was at Vincennes Lincoln for them for a couple years. Wood Memorial won 2 sectionals at Wood Memorial, and then 5 years at Springs Valley with not much to speak of, really.
There was Bryson Knepp with that 3, but I was just getting ready to say, we've got to remember and we've got to continue to play defense because that's what got us to this point. Hope picked up his 3rd. That wasn't a whole lot of one there.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Englert went up for the shot, and Hope was just kind of standing there. And as he came down, he kind of bumped into him, and he didn't give him room to come down. So I guess that's what they can.
Right. All right. So Michael Beekler comes into the ball game. Isaac Himes going to sit down. So Englert hits the free throw. It's 27-24. Second foul shot short. So Hope sits with 3. Inside of a minute.
The thing we got to remember is what's got us to this point. It's down here on the defensive end that's done it, and that's what we've got to continue to play. Now, like you said a while ago, the officials seem like now they're starting to call a little more closely than what they had been.
Right.
And as a player, that's tough because you don't know what you can and can't do.
Right.
They just need to be consistent. Either call it from the start or call it, one way or the other.
All right, so Caden Graber with the basketball. Feeds over to Devin Graber.
Uh-oh.
A little high on the pass there, and the Cats come up with it. So there goes Spencer right away. Left-handed layup up. Can't get it in. Beekler can't get the board. And here comes Barr Reeve the other way. So they got 23 seconds. We'll see if they hold for one. They are trailing the Wildcats by 3 right now, 27-24.
That would have been a big, nice conversion there if we'd have been able to take that turnover and convert it into 2 points. But
so down to 9 seconds. Jasper giving Barr Reeve every bit of what they have. So a fadeaway jump shot does not go, and the Cats will take a halftime lead, 27-24. So the students are here. We got fans, we got the band and everything, and the Wildcats are really putting on a good show so far, Jason.
Yeah, they have. Like I was saying there, the defensive end is what, in my opinion, the defense is what's got us going. We're playing hard on defense, and to me, when you play good defense, it transitions into good offense.
Right.
So I think, as a coach, I think the coaching staff's got to be pleased with the defensive end. I mean, you've held them to 24 points, but it's not only that, it's the fact that we're physical in there.
Oh, yeah.
We're not backing away from them. We're in there banging, grinding, doing the things that we need to do to compete against them. We're not playing scared. We're playing like we belong on the same floor that they are.
Right.
And from that point, sitting here watching this game, that's what I'm probably the most excited about, is that we're in there banging and grinding and playing like we belong out there.
Right.
I felt like the other night against New Albany, we didn't do that. It was like, it's New Albany, we can't beat New Albany, and we talked a little bit after that game. That was, if you were going to beat New Albany, that was the team to beat the other night, because they didn't play well. They're not as good as what they have been in the past.
Right.
But we came into it with the mindset that it's New Albany, we're expected to lose.
Yeah.
And tonight it's a total different thing.
It is.
Well, let me correct myself. For the first half, it's been a total different thing.
Yeah. But the thing is, we've pretty well got the blueprint of what it takes. And, if the Cats can pull off this win, or at least compete for the whole ball game with this type of effort, that's the way you got to play the rest of the season.
Well, there's no doubt. There's no doubt, Craig. This is a good learning starting point. You've just proved that you can play with anybody when you've got a 3-point lead against, I know they're a single A team, but it's still a good basketball team.
Yeah. And
you've proved that you can play with those type teams in a half.
Right.
Now, the game's not over.
It's not.
And I'm sure the coaching staff will remind the guys at halftime that, hey, the game's far from over. Mm-hmm. You got to come out and you got to play with that same intensity, the same desire that you did in the first half. And if you do that, you're going to put yourself in that with an opportunity to win the game.
Right.
If you don't, if you let up, this is a very good basketball team you're playing, and you could look up in that scoreboard 5-6 minutes into the third quarter and you could be down 10 or 12 points.
Right.
So,
all right, well, we'll take a break here as the dance team finally on the floor this year for the first time in a high school basketball game. So 27-24, Jasper leads the Vikings here on 18 WJTS. All right, we're back once again here at Jasper High School here at halftime as we're getting set to start the second half. The Jasper Wildcats with a 27-24 lead over the Barr Reeve Vikings. So we'll take a look quickly here at the scoring. First for the Vikings, Kurt Hope has 3 personal fouls, but he did score 11 points in that first half. 7 points for Bryson Graver, a 3-pointer hit by Caden Graver, and also another 3 by Devin. So that's their 24 points. The Cats, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players have scored, led by Isaac Days, 10 points, 2 for Ernie, 3 for Caleb Berger. Gus Heichelbeck with 5 points for Carter Mundy in his little run there in the second quarter, and a free throw by Englert and a free throw by Foley. So both teams look like we're pretty well set with the same starting lineups out there. So the Cats have Day, Ernie, Berger, Goodhue, and Heichelbeck on the floor right now. So
both teams shot the ball exceptionally well in the first half, Craig. Jasper shot 2-pointers at, Gus is going to pick up his third.
Yeah, just like that.
But Jasper shot the ball exceptionally well. They shot I have them unofficially 75% for twos. Threes, they shot at 50%, 4 for 8. Free throws was their worst, 60%, 3 of 5. And then Barr Reeve also shot 50% from the 2-point range and 50% from 3-point range. So both teams, like I said, shot the ball exceptionally well.
All right, so Hope 2 for 2 on that trip. Makes it a 1-point game. Jasper 27, Barr Reeve 26.
You know, and you and I were talking there at the break. You know, we've got to be able to maintain and keep doing what we did in the first half to keep ourselves in the game.
All right, so the Cats side out. Again, Gus had just had to sit down with his third personal foul. Hof's on the floor with his 3 fouls.
Yeah, and I would try to exploit that. I mean, I would do everything I could to get Foley involved with the offense and get it in there to him. Get it to him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Foley's got to make the
see,
play.
Foley
though.
had position.
Yeah.
And then we didn't get it to him.
Well, that's a nice play there, though, by Isaac Day, and Foley actually sealed off his defender, though, to be able to kind of open that up. So Day's got another bucket. He's got 12, and it's a 3-point lead for the Cats. Okay, so Graber hands off. It's Knepp with the basketball. Hagen Knepp is 34.
Uh-oh.
So that's a 3-pointer on the way, but long by Bryson. So here comes Day, again, just attacking, but can't get that one to drop. A battle for the rebound, and instead of a jump ball, we're going to get a foul.
I didn't see much there. It was 2 guys kind of going for the basketball, but
It gets whistled on
Goodhue,
number 51. So 2 fouls have been whistled on the Cats already.
Yeah, and that's one thing, you know, we definitely don't want to do. We don't want to get into foul trouble and get them in, or not foul trouble, but get them in the bonus here too early.
Well, he's got the green light, and he's taking it. Second 3-pointer shot. He hits this one. So Bryson Graber now with 10 points ties this ball game at 29.
I'd like to see us put a little more ball pressure on him. Not only take away that shot, but also that's part of the reason why he's such a good passer is if you watch, he has space. He just stands there with the ball, and he's very good at seeing the whole floor. But if you're up on him, see, look, if we're up on him, he can't see, and he can't, you know, don't let him have that court vision because he has good enough court vision the way it is.
Well, we're giving him the shot now, and he misses that 3-point shot. All right, so Berger's going to attack the basket. Takes it straight up, and he draws the contact. This is going to go on Caden Graber. So that's the thing. You know, if they hit a 3-pointer over here, we're just going right at the hole every time we bring it down. So 31-29, Jasper with a 2-point lead. Berger with the chance for 2. And he pops the first one. So 4 points for him. Substitutions coming in. Number 40, Tommy Kidwell coming in. Also 24, Jamison Miller. 3-point lead for the Cats, 32-29, 5:29 to go here in the third quarter. Berger long on that free. Bryson dumps off. Here's a 3-pointer launched, and coming off the bench, cold.
Man, right off the bench, and steps right in there and hits it.
That's Tommy Kidwell, number 40, so his first bucket of the ball game, and now the Cats lose it. And Day's able to hustle it right back, gets it over to Berger, shot fake, shot up, and blocked, and the Vikings are able to save it. So tie ball game at 32. 3-pointer on the way is short.
I'll tell you what did he say, 40's name, Kidwell?
Yeah.
He come in firing. He come in and 2 trips down the floor, shot 2 threes, and then he picked up that foul. But
and obviously that's part of his game if he's launching threes like that.
Evidently he's a good shooter.
All right, 32-32 with 4:47 to go. And the Wildcats battling with the number 1 team in 1A.
I still would like to see him get it into Foley. Get it in there and let him make a move.
The thing is, Foley tends to give up, though. You know, it's like if he didn't have the position, and
he's got to keep working for that position because
you got to keep moving.
He gets it at times, like here. When he's got Hof behind him, that's when you got to get him the ball.
Well, Day can't get that one, though. That was a drive he's been hitting all night tonight. Now there's going to be a shot up, and that's going to be a blocking foul on the Wildcats, so Goodhue will pick up that one. Yeah, I mean, if anything, I mean, you know, again, with Hof just being all over Foley down here, it is opening up drive opportunities in the lane, but the thing is, you're right. We got to get it in his hands so that way we can kind of force him to get that fourth personal foul.
Yeah. I would definitely like to see him get it, at least let him have a touch.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying he has to shoot.
Right.
But get it in there and let him have a touch at it and see what happens.
Yeah, and see if even with the pass in there, Hof might try to deny the pass and reach around or something.
Yeah. I mean, you got a guy like that, of that caliber player, you got him on the ropes, you know, a little bit with the fouls. You got to exploit that.
Exactly. All right, we got a break here. Vikings now lead the Wildcats 34-32 with 4:02 to go here in the third on 18 WJTS. John Gable takes the full timeout there.
That was a good timeout. I think he took that to try to help regroup them. You know, Barr Reeve took a 2-point lead. He didn't want us to come down and take a dumb shot, give them an opportunity to go up 4 or more.
Well, I'll tell you what happened there is that they had to switch where Tyson Knepp was picking up Foley, and Foley just took advantage of his size and put that shot right up and in.
Yeah, he did. He did a very good job of taking it, you know, to the hole and was strong with the basketball, which you don't ever have to worry about Connor not being strong with it. We're
looking for Hof. Hof's not had many touches here in this second half. His only points have come from the free throw line.
And there's where you got to make sure you get out there on him so that he doesn't get that opportunity. We switched a little bit here. Now we've got Ernie's guarding Bryson Knepp, which I was kind of surprised at the start of the game that he wasn't on him, because Ernie usually guards the best player on the opposing team, and evidently they felt like they didn't want to start him on there tonight for whatever reason, but he's on him now, so.
All right, we got 2:48 on the clock. It's a tie basketball game at 34. Foley, look at that attack. Puts it up. Oh, cannot get the roll, but he'll go to the line to shoot two. Man, he just made a quick move there, Jason.
Yeah, he did. He caught it, did a drop step spin move, and went up with the ball, went up strong, just couldn't quite finish it. But, you know, at least he's getting to the rim and he's attacking. He's not settling.
Cannot hit the free throw. So Foley, 1 of 3 from the line so far. Ernie's going to sit. Albran in. And Foley misses both. So we're stayed at 34. 2:37 on the clock. Third quarter action. Vikings 34, Wildcats 34. Bryson Graber feeds it in again to the three-point marksman, and he gets fouled on the three.
That was a good acting job.
So Tommy Kidwell missed the shot, but he's going to go to the line to shoot 3 of them.
I watched that whole thing, and I don't think he did anything to commit that foul, but oh well.
All right, so this is an opportunity for him to give Barr Reeve the lead, but he misses the first one there, so we're still locked at 34.
You know, it's a little bit different for the opposing team shooting free throws tonight in here as what it's been. You know, before you didn't have any crowd here, and it was like shooting in practice. Now at least you've got, you know, some fans here, you've got some students here that are you know, at least making it a little more interesting.
Sure. All right, 2-point lead for the Vikings. 2 out of 3 from the line there for Kidwell. 2:08 on the clock as Foley gets it knocked away from him. So he's got Hof back on Foley now. Isaac, though, look at that easy play. Again, the lane is opening up, and I think it's because of the presence of Foley and what Hope's not really been paying attention. He's not been helping out at all in the lane.
Hope's defense doesn't
impress you.
Doesn't impress me. Okay. Yeah, let's just put it that way. You know, at that size in a high school game, you know, I would think you could block a few more shots than what he does by helping off. But there's what he likes to do. He wants to go outside and shoot that shot. Get it to him.
Yeah, the opening's there if he drops it down low, but keeping out on the perimeter. So Graber against Day there. Now Mundi.
I mean, we're just playing a lot of
look at that spin move by Mundi. Look at that. I'll tell you what, this sophomore is not a sophomore anymore the way he's playing. So Mundi, 7 points, aggressive to the basket, gives the Wildcats a 2-point lead with 52 seconds to go, 38-36.
Yeah, Carter did a good job there of penetrating off of the dribble.
Good hands there to knock it away by Day.
And getting a good shot off of it.
I mean, and again, I think there's no fear whatsoever when he makes those plays.
It's obviously, you know, from watching 3 quarters of this game that the game plan tonight was to attack the rim.
Right.
Because there's no doubt that that's what we've done, and that's what we've been successful at. And that's why we're shooting the ball so well, too, is because it's –
All right, so Hope goes aggressive against Foley. Foley loses that battle, and so Hope's going to go to the line to shoot, too.
We should have tried to take a charge there. You know, we could have picked up a cheap foul. It would have been his 4th, you know. I mean, I know it's getting close to the 4th quarter, but – still would have been nice to see it.
But Hope's all of his points here in this 3rd quarter coming from the free throw line, 3 for 3. With not scored a field goal.
The free throw line's definitely keeping them in the ball game. I had them 1 for 1 in the first half, and right now they're 8 for 10.
Right.
So.
All right, so we are tied at 38 with 27 seconds to go. 3rd quarter, Jasper 38. Vikings 38. Beekler in the ball game now.
Barr Reeve's in a little half-court trap. Ooh, a better passer. We would have had a good shot.
Good awareness, though, by Mooney to recover and get it over to Allbrand. Now they get it over to Mooney from the corner, and he drains it! Carter Mooney, what a game. 10 points for him. Last second heave does not go for Graber, but the Jasper Wildcats led by 3 at halftime, going into the 4th. They're up 41-38 here on 18 WJTS. All right, so Jasper will have the basketball to start the 4th quarter. And they lead 41-38. So again, anybody walking into this basketball gym, so again, first one that's allowing a large number of fans, 1,200 tonight. And the ball gets knocked away there.
He's out of bounds.
Yeah, so he was laying on the sideline, so that's going to be off of Kidwell. But, you know, again, just look at Jasper's record of 4-11 coming into tonight. It's a totally different basketball game than what anybody's been able to see.
Yeah, it has.
Playing well.
You know, if we would have played like this all year, we wouldn't be 4-11, I can guarantee you.
Well, Gus misses the 3, but he battles to keep the ball alive, so the Cats hang on to possession as Ernie misses this shot. Now we've got a held ball here, and this will go to Barr Reeve. All right, so Goodhue's coming back in. Himes going to sit. 41-38, Jasper with a 3-point lead. Kurt Hof, who had 3 fouls in the first half, did not commit one there in that 3rd quarter, so. But the Cats have held him without a field goal. He's hit 4 free throws in this 2nd half so far. Gets it down low. Gus is there. Now he gets the help from Day, and that's going to go on Day. So Gus has 3 fouls. So 2nd foul on Day. 6 fouls on the Wildcats now. 3 on the Vikings. They feed into Hope. Hope holding his stomach. I don't know if Gus made a pop on him or what, but All right, so might have been just a, again, you use your elbows and everything, getting positioning and things like that. So I don't know if it was a case of that, but
yeah, I don't know if
he is shaking up.
It's hard telling if he's got the wind knocked out of him. Doesn't look like he's sick. This looks like, I'd say he got the wind knocked out of him.
All right, so Hope's going to sit down for a little bit here. 41-38 with 7:03 to go. So Kidwell will inbound over there.
In that third quarter, Craig, Barr Reeve was in 2-point shots. They were 0 for 1, 2 for 7 from the threes, 8 for 9 from the free throw line. So the free throw line kept them in the ball game.
Right. All right, so Graber cannot get that 3-point shot to go. So here comes Ernie quickly, gets it over to Berger on the left side. Day, 3-point shot for him, short. Berger, good rebound. He'll dribble on the baseline, feeds it into Gus. Gus makes a move, battles, gets the shot up and in. Gus Heichelbeck battled for that one, but a good job by Berger to keep it alive there on the baseline. So Gus gives the Wildcats a 43-38 lead with 6:31 to go. Hope comes back in. Gus has a chance to add one more.
They did a good job there of battling. God dang.
Oh, but Ernie, though. So, again, those second chance opportunities, but now he throws it right away. So, that one kind of. Now they get it down to Hope. He's down low. Gus does. Oh, and they call a late foul.
That was an awful. I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't a foul, but it was a late whistle.
Yeah, he waited until that shot was off and in the rim before he called that foul.
You know, here's the thing. We had the ball down here up 5, had the rebound, committed to turnover, and then let them go down and possibly commit or have a 3-point play.
Right. All right, so 43-40. Hope misses that foul shot. So his first miss of the night. 6:15 on the clock. Jasper with the 3-point lead. Gus has to sit with his 4th foul. Day gets it slapped away from him, and they're going to call a foul. So this one's going to go on Bryson. Bryson Graber picks up the personal. That's the 5th team foul. First one called on Bryson. And they're going to call it a shooting foul. So Day's going to shoot 2. And perfect on that. So Day, 15 points for him, leading the Wildcats. 44-40 is our score. 6:03 on the clock. Second foul shot is good. Five-point lead for the Cats with 6 minutes to go here in the 4th. Jasper doing it defensively, but also very resourceful on the offensive end, attacking the basket all night. All right, so that's going to be a foul on the floor.
Foul, but
yep. All right, so Foley picks up his 2nd foul. So the 2 players with responsibility of containing Kurt Hof, 6 fouls between them. Gus is on the bench right now with 4 of them. All right, so Hope finds his free throw touch again. And pops the 2nd one. So 3-point game. Jasper still leads 45-42 with 5:43 on the clock.
Barr Reeve's in a little 1-3-1 zone defense. They're not really trapping out of it.
Well, made an easy steal though.
Yeah, that's just a turnover that you can't have. We got fortunate enough that they missed the layup, but we got to take care of the basketball. There's no doubt. I mean, that's an unforced turnover out down here that we can't have if we want to try to win this game.
All right, so Jasper still leads by 3, 45-42. It's Graber High and Ernie there. Now Day with it. Mundi Now they trap in the corner.
Yeah,
and John Gable calls a timeout, so he calls a.
That's where they're looking to trap out of that. It's not the trap out on the high, it's the trap down in the corner where
right.
they bait you to throw it down there and then trap you.
All right, so we'll take a break. 5:04 to go. Jasper still leads by 3 here on 18 WJTS. The ball here at Jasper High School. The Wildcats against the Barr Reeve Vikings. Craig Schneider, Jason Stamm, and Jeremy Markos on the video bringing the action tonight as John Gable calls the timeout there to settle his team and keep possession of the basketball. 3-point lead.
We got to take care of the basketball and keep doing what we did, the first 3 quarters of this game.
Mundi cannot get that one to go. Hof comes down with the rebound. 4:30 on the clock now. Drive to the lane, kick out. Kidwell, he's popped it before and he hits another one. So Kidwell ties this game at 45. 2 3-pointers for him tonight.
This guy on the opposite side is open when the ball's at that wing. See, now he's in trouble because he dribbled.
And he just threw it right into Graber's hands. So Bryson feeds it over to Hof. Hof thought about the dunk and loses it. Now he's got it down low, and they're going to call the foul on the floor. So no free throws. Well, actually, it will be a 1-and-1. That's the 9th foul on the Wildcats.
Down here, though, on the offensive end, we got to quit throwing the ball in the corner.
Right. I mean, I know you want to get Carter a shot down there, but it just wasn't there.
But when a team's playing a 1-3-1 that means they've got 3 guys across the free throw line extended. If you put 2 guys at the low blocks, they can't guard both of them. One guy can't guard them both.
Yeah.
And that's where we got to be able to throw the skip pass to the opposite low post, and the guy's going to be open.
Right. All right, so Hof continues this free throw shooting tonight. 3 of 4 here in the quarter. 7 of 8 here in the second half, and he misses the second one. 46-45. Vikings with a 1-point lead on the Wildcats. And it's just right in the same spot, and they're going to call a blocking foul. Wow. I was kind of surprised by that, and I think we got a sideline warning over there. Yeah, the official called the blocking foul, and boy, what a look that number 30, Devin Graber, gave the official. And
it was more of a flop than a blocking foul, I think. So and Thompson kind of come out of his box, so they give him a bench warning.
And Berger quickly gets it out of that. Now they're in the man-to-man. They made the switch. Ernie works off the screen. Gus back in the ball game.
We need to make sure we just be patient and get a shot like we have been getting. And that's being aggressive and going to the basket. Get it to him.
All right, gets kicked out of bounds. Yeah. But, all right, so Jasper still with the basketball. 3:18 on the clock. They're trailing by 1. The Vikings 46, the Wildcats 45. Inbound play set. Good screen for Mundi. He's got a wide open look, and he pops it. Carter Mundi, 13 points off the bench, and gives the Wildcats a lead right back, 48-46. Now Kidwell can't get it to go. Rebound comes down to Berger. He's going to have to split the defenders, but actually there's a foul, and we'll see who they call it on because Hope was right there, and that's who called it on. They called it on Kurt Hope. That's his fourth foul.
His fourth. So, I mean, 3 minutes left. It shouldn't play into it, but it could. But I would definitely try to take advantage of it. I would go right at him.
Sure. All right, so Berger's going to step up. Foley comes in. Gus is going to sit. 4th foul on Hope. 7th foul on the Vikings, so it's 1-1. Berger, big one there. 2 of 3 from the line tonight. He's got 5. Cats so far 3 of 4 from the free throw line here in this fourth quarter, leading by 3. 2 for 2. All right, so that gives the Wildcats a 50-46 lead with 2:58 to go. Drive to the lane, kick out. Now you got Kidwell with an opening, in and out, and it hits the top of the backboard, almost went in, and now you got Hope with his 5th personal foul.
Yep, he just...
Kurt Hope, the former Forest Park Ranger, now a Barr Reeve Viking, will sit down for the remaining 2 minutes and 41 seconds of this big battle against the Jasper Wildcats, in which the Wildcats lead 50-46. All right, so Gus comes back in. So we're starting to make that switch between Foley and Heichelbeck. So Kurt Hope, the leading scorer for this Barr Reeve team, is now disqualified from action as Gus gets a rebound. Strong move up, little finger roll up and in. Gus Heichelbeck with a huge offensive rebound, giving the Wildcats a 6-point lead. Now the Vikings are going to call a timeout and try to get settled things down, but the Jasper Wildcats leading the Barr Reeve Vikings 52-46 here on 18 WJTS. All right, we are back once again here. The Vikings call the timeout. Josh Thompson tries to get his team settled down after they lose their leading scorer. Kurt Hope sitting on the bench with 5 fouls. 52-46, Jasper with the lead. Graber attacks, and that's going to be a foul called on Ernie. Not a bad foul there, but he will shoot free throws, though.
Yeah, and he'll get a shoot 2. From here on out, they'll be shooting 2.
All right, so Graber pops that one. I'm kind of surprised that the Wildcat fan base is not basically making more noise as he's shooting these free throws, because these are big ones. I don't think anybody knows how to act in the first basketball game everybody's been at this year.
Yeah, and the student section's just, scattered all out. Looks like there's more here than what actually is.
Right. Okay, so that ball gets kicked. Cats will hang on to possession. 2:05, it's a 4-point lead for the Cats, 52-48.
We've got to take care of the basketball. I mean, that's an obvious statement, but.
And there's a trip right there, so Devin Graber picks up that one. All right, so Good Hughes coming back in. Get Gus sitting down. So again, we're playing that offense-defense thing with Foley and Gus right now. Big free throws here. Every free throw's big. Tanner Ernie cannot get it to go. 4-point lead with 1:54 to go. Graber kicks back out. Devin drives, makes a spin move, finds an opening, puts it up and in.
I don't know if he traveled or not, but it sure looked like it because he covered a lot of real estate after he picked up his dribble.
Right. All right, so John Gable calls a timeout. This is going to be a crucial possession. 1:36 on the clock. Jasper 52, the Vikings 50. We'll take a break here on 18 WJTS. Jason Stamm, crucial situation here, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that was a good timeout by Coach Gable. He wanted to have his guys settled. He wants to probably run a set play here. 2-point lead with 1.5 minutes to go. Every possession's, very, very crucial. You want to make sure you get off a good shot here. So we'll see what they drew up in the huddle. They're going to be, it looks like man-to-man, yep. Man-to-man, they left the door wide open.
Oh, but Daig has got the ball knocked away as he was driving there, so good defensive play by Graber. He's got the basketball and attacks. Kicks out, Devin Graber with the shot, short. Battle for the rebound. And they're going to say Viking basketball. So
I don't know how you could even come up with whose that was.
That was just because again, Day's got to take that opening. Again, that's his play.
Yeah,
but it just got knocked away over here.
Yeah, I don't fault the play.
Right.
That's what we've been living on all night is being aggressive, going to the rim, just like he did. I couldn't tell. Maybe he acted like he got fouled. Most of the time, high school players aren't smart enough to say they got fouled if they didn't. They're not good at that type of thing. I don't think.
Yeah.
So I would think he may have gotten slapped or whatever, but it's irrelevant. Minute and a half or minute and 13 seconds left. 2-point lead. Again, it's going to come down to turnovers, free throws, typical thing. But win or lose, this is a huge, huge improvement for this basketball team.
No question about it.
And I don't believe in moral victories. If you lose by one, well, that's a moral victory. No, it's not.
Almost an over and back here.
We need to win this and not be satisfied unless we do.
Left alone for three, and he pops it. That's a big one off the bench for Jamison Miller. First bucket of the night for him.
See, and that's what they did. They came out of the timeout with a set play. They had the guy they wanted in that position to shoot it. And now we'll see what Jasper can do because they're going to do the same thing. They're going to draw up a play here in the timeout and come out and see if they can execute it.
All right, so when we come back, Vikings with a 1-point lead, 49.3 to go here on 18 WJTS. All right, probably the biggest possession of the night for the Jasper Wildcats here.
Yeah, no
trailing
doubt.
by one with 49 seconds to go.
And the thing we got to realize, you don't have to shoot a three. I'm sure that the coaching staff drew up a play, and whether it's a three or not, I don't know, but
you just got to get a good shot. Cats have one timeout left.
And I would say Coach Gable's standing right there and may call a timeout if it gets to that.
We're at 29 seconds now, and there's going to be a foul, so we may be able to earn it here from the line. The opportunity's there for Tanner Ernie. 26.8 to go. Vikings 53, Jasper 52. Two big free throws. It will be double bonus here as Caden Graber steps to the line.
Good use in. Michael Beekler's coming in for Mundy.
So Tanner Ernie, though, just 37% foul shooter on the season, so these are huge.
Yeah, no doubt. It's nice to know, though, that you get two.
So he ties this basketball game at 53. Second foul shot, down. Good job, Tanner, to give the Wildcats a 1-point lead, 54-53 with 24 seconds to go. And Josh Thompson wants the timeout. So what an exciting night of basketball these fans have been able to witness tonight. Jasper leads by one, 54-53 here on 18 WJTS. Well, Jason Stamm, I tell you what, these fans have been spoiled tonight with great basketball we've seen on the floor.
There's no doubt. We were talking about that at break there, that the fans look at this and think, man, this has been exciting all year, and it's like I wish it would have been like this every night.
Yeah,
and it should have been.
Yeah.
But whatever.
We've had our moments, but this is a big one tonight. And see if the Cats can finish off these final 22 seconds as Graber brings it across. Jasper 54, Vikings 53. Let's see it play out. 10 seconds. I think Graber's going to want to take this shot. Good job by Day to stay on him. Kick to the corner. Devin Graber for three, and he drains it. Jasper calls a timeout with 0.9 seconds to go. Oh my goodness, what a play set up there. Bryson Graber made a move, kicked it to the corner, and Devin Graber just drills probably the biggest three-point shot of his life.
From Jasper's standpoint, you're in there, you're trying to help out so that Bryson Graber doesn't get the layup, but you still got to be aware of the shooters that they've got.
Right.
I mean, they've shot. I've got them unofficially for shooting 23 three-pointers tonight.
Wow.
And I've got them unofficially for shooting 9 two-pointers.
Man,
so,
are you serious?
What looking at those stats, what do you think they're going to try to shoot in that situation?
That's true.
So, I mean, again, we've got 1.9 seconds left. We don't need a 3, but more than likely that's what you're going to get. We did this against Southridge.
Yeah.
Had the ball on that end, inbounds, boom, boom, down the floor we went. Now, I think we had a little bit more time with that one.
Well, they actually added some time to the clock. It's 1.9 on the clock.
Yeah, but I don't remember what we had in the Southridge game, how much time. It was a little more than that, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they've seen that video.
Sure.
So we'll see. We'll see what we can come up with here and do.
All right, so the Jasper Wildcats have one chance, one final chance with 1.9 seconds to go. Again, they're keeping an eye on Day, but Day's going to get the inbound over there. We'll see if they try to run the play with Connor Foley. And
they may try to flash Foley and throw it to him, and then
they actually backed off Miller there, so nobody's on the ball. And actually, Josh Thompson says, wait a minute, I want to settle this down.
Yeah, I mean, I don't look for him to guard anybody beyond half court.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't, make them throw it up there and then dribble. I mean, if you get beat, it's going to be by half court or, a desperation.
And he can move on the baseline, right?
Yes.
All right, so 56-54. Jasper is now going to have to draw up what they're going to plan to do. It looked like they were wanting to do similar to what they did against Southridge by setting up Foley to get that pass, handoff to.
Yeah, Day was going to fly down,
flash through. Yeah.
Yeah, he was going to fly down the wing and maybe try to hit him. I don't think we have enough. Well, I'm almost sure that we don't have enough time to make that inbounds pass.
Right.
Another pass and a layup. It's going to have to be a shot.
Well, Foley's not coming in. So they put Gus in because I guess they want Gus to be able to shoot.
No, Foley's still in.
Oh, okay. I didn't see him sitting down during the timeout. Okay, so Foley's still in.
So you've got Ernie taking it out, who's got probably a decent arm, plays baseball, because it's probably going to be a pretty long pass.
All right, so now they put a man on, and they actually make the change. Number 34 is on him, Nepp. So 1.9 seconds to go. Jasper down by 2. You got to get it in. The ball gets knocked away, and that just ticks 0.5 off the clock. So it's 1.4, but we might have a better position. Yeah, closer here, Jason.
Yeah, we only lost 0.5 of a second there and moved up the floor with the clock stopped again. So
you're not going to have time to catch, so they're going to throw it out here, and stealing the pass is the man who hit the shot. Oh, they call it travel. Oh, they're going to put time back on the clock, though. Oh, my goodness. He called a travel there. Why? I mean, this could be a break for the Wildcats if they give us any time, but
I don't know how you can give much. I really don't. I mean, I hope so, but
maybe 0.9 because he catches that ball, goes straight down. There's the travel. Did that take half a second off?
Yeah, both teams are out of timeouts, so they're getting a free one here, which the officials are trying to bring them back. They put 0.4 on.
0.4. Wow. So you're saying it took a full second for him to grab at and fall. Well, now it's just all you can do is tip it in. All right. He's just going to have to throw it up towards the basket. Foley's there. It gets knocked away, and the Barr Reeve Vikings pretty well steal a basketball game from the Jasper Wildcats. Cats led after the free throws hit by Ernie. But man, Jasper led 54-53. Everybody had their eyes on Bryson Graber as he was making a move. They only needed a 2-point shot to take the lead, but he's able to eye over there in the corner Devin Graber, who was wide open for a 3. He knocks it down, and that's the ball game.
Pretty well in a nutshell. You know, basically, you know, as a recap of the game, you know, I think, you know, as a coaching staff, the teaching point on this is going to be, guys, this is what you're capable of doing night in and night out.
Right. This is the effort that's needed to compete and win basketball.
Every night.
Right.
You know, again, you put forth this effort every night you come out. You're not sitting here 4-11.
Right.
4-12 now. You're not at that point. I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
And at this particular point of the season, you're building yourself to be what team we're going to put on the court once we get to the postseason.
That's exactly right.
You know?
So this can be a good building block, a good stepping stone for what's next.
Right.
Now, that's up to these kids as to how are you going to come back out the next game, Saturday, against Boonville.
Right.
Boonville, not to take anything away from Boonville.
Right.
Boonville's not a Barr Reeve.
They're not Barr Reeve.
Boonville's not going to be one of the better teams that we play all year.
Right. Right.
You know, I mean,
we can and probably should be able to beat on our home court.
Last year we went to Boonville.
Yeah.
Should have been a team we beat. We go down there and lay an egg and get
Right.
beat. Same thing can happen this year.
True.
We've got to use this as a building block to get better, get better, get better, get better each and every game.
Right.
And not go backwards.
Yeah.
You know, we took a big step tonight to improve, but if you don't keep building on that, it's all for nothing.
Right. Right.
So I think, you know, that you got to commend the boys and the coaches on the effort. You know, again, it stinks to lose by 2 points to anybody.
Right.
Especially to a team the caliber of Barr Reeve.
Barr Reeve. Yep.
So from that point, it's disappointing. But, again, I look at it as not necessarily as wins and losses, but I look at it as, did we get better tonight as a basketball team? By God, we did.
Yes.
Now, can we continue to get better is the next step.
Yes.
And we'll see that Saturday afternoon when we play Boonville.
And the thing is, as far as this coaching staff, they've got a philosophy of how they want their basketball team to play. Obviously, that's not meshed between, you know, with the record that, you know, 4-11 speaks for itself. Okay. But do you feel like tonight that we've got buy-in from this team to be able to play?
Well, I would hope so.
Okay.
You know, I would hope that these guys can look at this and watch this on film and say, you know, if we would have been doing these things that the coaches told us to do all along, and, you know, this is an example of it. I mean, it shows you that you can compete against a good quality team if you do the things that the coaching staff wants you to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, as a basketball team, as the players, they need to buy into this and believe in the system, believe into what just went on, believe that, you know, we can be a good team. We can be the team we thought we were going to be, but they have to remember, what did they do this week for preparation for this game?
Right.
Can we repeat that? Can we
Right.
do these things over and be ready to go the next time we play?
Right.
You can't rest on your laurels. You can't be satisfied. Yeah, we played the number one team to a 2-point loss.
Right.
Big deal.
Yeah.
You know, throw that one out the book. It's over. Let's get better in practice tomorrow and come back out Saturday and be ready to go.
All right. Any numbers that stand out to you over there?
Yeah, I don't have them all finalized yet, but, you know, like I said, Barr Reeve, 23 three-pointers, hit 1, 2, 3, 4,
10, I
5,
believe.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
So 10 of 23.
So 30 of their 20 or 30 of their 56 points.
And again, you know, these stats are unofficial, but I got them shooting 9 2-point shots.
That's crazy.
And that's, yeah. Jasper shot 19 2-pointers, 13. The one that really sticks out to me probably is the free throws.
Yeah.
Barr Reeve shot 17. We shot 18, but Barr Reeve hit 14, I think.
Okay.
A rough guess here before I can finalize it. And we only hit 2, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10.
10.
So, there's a difference in the game. As a coach, you preach to kids all along, little on up, how important free throws are.
Sure.
Here's a perfect example of it.
Right. And that's the difference in the ball game.
That's what I mean. Turnovers, I had us for unofficially for 10, them for 9. They did a lot better job the second half. I only really had them for 2 turnovers, I think, in the second half.
Wow.
So they took care of the ball a lot better than, after halftime.
Absolutely.
I don't know. The numbers are what they are. But from the coach's standpoint, I think, it'll be interesting to have your interview with them here in a little bit to see what's their take on it.
Sure.
Because again, like we've said all along, these guys are the ones that are with them every day at practice.
Right.
They know what to expect out of them. They know, could we have done something different or better tonight?
Right.
In my opinion, looking at the game plan, and again, I don't know the game plan because I wasn't in practice for the last 3 days, but sitting here looking at it, I can kind of visualize what we were practiced, they were taught and instructed to do, and to me, it looks like they did a pretty good job of it. I think they were told to attack the basket. They did a good job helping with Hof, on defense. We didn't let them have anything, out of the ordinary shot-wise. We forced them in, like I said, into shooting 23 threes.
Yeah.
And maybe that's their game. I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see what they have to say because here they come. Well, actually, there's 3 of them coming, so
I guess we get to take our pick.
Maybe one of them's not going to walk all the way up here. I'm not sure which one, but
all right. Well, we'll take a break here. Jasper, tight one tonight, but falls to the Vikings 56-54 here on 18 WJTS. All right, we're back once again here. Jasper falls to the Barr Reeve Vikings in a tight one, 56-54, and we have Jason Albrand here to tell us about it. And Jason, I know a disappointing loss here, but before we kind of get into everything that happened there, let's talk about the game plan coming into tonight and how we executed that game plan to be able to be
Well,
competitive.
I thought, what's been one of our bugaboos is I think paying attention to detail and taking walkthroughs and scouting reports and film work out on the floor. And I thought tonight we did a really good job of that. Offensively, we knew we weren't going to beat Barr Reeve in the 80s. And the games going to have to be in the 50s or high. We're not holding the ball, and we've really been working on, getting a feel during the game when, okay, we've gone a couple empty trips, they've got a couple buckets. We're not holding the ball. We're just going to turn down a good shot for a great shot kind of mentality. And I thought we did a really good job of that the first 3 quarters of understanding what we wanted at certain times. So I thought offensively we did a really nice job. Defensively, we wanted to be physical with Hof inside because if he catches that ball, we have our time guarding him. And what's tough with Barr Reeve is they put 4 guys on the floor at all times for the most part that can knock it down. So if he does get a touch, you pick your poison. Do you double down or do you let him try to go one-on-one and score against one of our 6'2" or 3" centers in there. So, But I thought our bigs did an outstanding job. We had different guys on him, and I thought they did. We wanted to get him off the block and have him catch the ball off the block, make him put the ball on the floor with his right hand. A couple times in the first half, we got a little low when he ball screened. We sunk too low. He popped, and then it was a long closeout for our big. But, for the most part, I thought we did on both ends of the floor did a really nice job of doing what we wanted to do.
Well, and it seemed like their offense, they hit 10 three-pointers there and shot quite a few of them and obviously won the game with a big one there. But did we want to force them into a perimeter game?
Well, no. They had one of their players, one of their starters, 34, Neps, who's a really nice player. He injured his ankle and he played and he wasn't himself. And so when they brought in other players, there were certain ones that we could help off of. But that was the tough. We knew we had to guard the ball because we knew tonight if they got around us, we really weren't not going to be able to provide much help because, as you say, 10 threes. And, some of those came on, just busted plays, a kick out or out of position. A couple, I think, Hof hit, we were just a little low on the –
right.
But I thought that, we did – they've got 3 guys that shoot over 50% from the arc. You know, find another team in the state that's got, you know, that. And so
Right.
they're a difficult matchup, especially when you don't have a guy that's, you know, physically, size-wise, 6'8", 6'9", to go against Hof inside. But like I said, I thought our kids did an outstanding job of understanding how we wanted to guard him. And you know, there were times, you know, where they got some open looks and 40 comes off the bench and hadn't played, and the first thing he does is hit a three-point shot, you know. So, and we knew he was a shooter. It wasn't like he was like, who's this guy? You know, it was one of those. And sometimes when you sub and they're on the other end of the floor, it's hard to communicate down there that, hey, 40's, you know, he was on the report, but, you know, here we are almost 3 quarters later, you know, and so but overall, we were pleased with how our kids approached the game from that standpoint.
All right. Well, the other thing, too, is that, I mean, obviously we've had our struggles in the season. And did we pretty well establish a blueprint on how this team should play for the rest of the season?
Well, I think number one, Craig, was the effort. And that's one thing that we did not see against New Albany Saturday. We came out and to me looked – I'm not saying we were, but we looked disinterested. We looked scared. We looked like with no confidence, like there's no way we can beat New Albany. And we get down 17-2. And next thing you know, we start, and I know I hate saying we outscored them by 7 the last 3 quarters, but we did, and I'm sure they probably backed off a little bit when you get that big lead. It's just human nature. So I'm not saying we're 7 points better than New Albany for 3 quarters, you know, but it was good to see we didn't quit that game. And our big focus moving forward was, are we going to come tonight with an approach of, hey, you know, you're going to have to play really well and really tough to beat us. And I thought our kids didn't play like a 4-11 team late in the year. You know, that's one thing you worry about when things are going south, that you know, we start looking to next year or say this season's over, I'm going to get mine while I'm out there. And I didn't see any selfishness. I thought the kids played exceptionally hard. So we were proud of that effort. So blueprint, effort, energy, toughness. Yeah, that's who we've been, Craig. You know, I've been here 24 years and we've had one division, one player. Yeah. He moved in from Bosnia. Yeah. You know, we're not walking, you know, we played I've been almost every team on our schedule since I've been here has had 1 or 2 Division I. So my point is we don't have the luxury of showing up and kind of, you know, just kind of going through the motions and hitting that button when it's time. We don't have the luxury to do that. So we have to really expend a lot of energy on both ends of the floor, and I thought tonight was exactly how we're going to have to play, offensively and defensively, absolutely.
Well, a lot of times when I look at games like this, it's like, okay, where are some of the improvements coming? But I've talked about this player, and I'm really becoming a big fan of him. But Carter Moondy, I just feel like he's playing with such confidence, and he seems like, I'm not saying he's a go-to guy, but he's a guy that can get some points for.
Well, he's a guy that the other team's going to have to guard, you know, and he's got the ability to put the ball on the floor, which helps. You know, he's scored several of these buckets off penetration, spinning back in the lane. So he's able to score at different levels, which is nice to see, especially for a sophomore. And I think we're, you know, do we keep playing him JV? Do we move him up full time? And you know, we feel like right now, I think the JV minutes are, he's getting to play more minutes than anybody in our program right now. He's playing 5 quarters a night, and why not? You know, so and we're going to probably continue to do that, and he's going to continue to come in and hopefully keep sparking us. And you know, when you can put multiple shooters on the floor as a Barr Reeve does, it's going to make things easier offensively. So, he's really the last, I think, you know, month has really kind of gained some confidence, and you know, he's done it against some good teams, Barr Reeve being an example tonight.
Yeah. And then I also thought Isaac Day just kind of took charge out there tonight as well.
Well, he did, and that's another thing we've been looking for is a guy on the floor to kind of be a leader and a coach, and a guy that kind of, you know, gets us under control and kind of knows when to kind of slow it down and what kind of shot we're looking for. And so I thought that he did a nice job with that tonight. And it's not about, you know, I'm going to use Grant Young in the JV game tonight. I'm not sure if he scored a couple buckets, but I thought he played an outstanding just floor game. He didn't, when your point guard's not rattled a lot of times, well, then nobody else gets rattled. Yeah. You got to have a calming influence. And I thought tonight he did a good job of not getting sped up and played under control and had some nice passes and got to the bucket. And I really thought, I have to watch the film, but that drive in the left lane over there with a minute, 30 or 40 to go up 4 was a big, I thought no call. I don't know. I have to see it. Yeah. But, you know, he got off balance and ended up stumbling. And so, but, he did a nice job.
Well, and the other thing, too, is that we had fans in the stands.
Yeah,
so,
that was really
great
nice.
atmosphere
You know,
tonight.
you don't know if that maybe had something to do with our energy level. It doesn't certainly hurt having people in here, and hopefully they can leave here and I'm sure 4-11 doesn't just say, man, let's go watch those Cats play. That's 4-11 is like, maybe I'll stay home and training outside tonight. I don't know about this, but I really think if you came to watch tonight, you would be proud of the product that was on the floor representing our community and our school, and hopefully we'll continue. We got 6 more games, and there's some tough ones in there. We got to go to Casa, got to go to Mater Dei, got to go to Bedford. So that doesn't get any easier by any stretch. But we keep playing like tonight and having that kind of focus and energy. We're going to get better, no doubt about it.
I agree. All right, well, Boonville's coming up.
Boonville's had everybody's hit with COVID. Boonville played their first game last Friday since December the 15th.
Oh, wow.
So you had 6 weeks on the calendar they had without a game. So they played last Friday. They played last Saturday. They played again tonight. They played, I believe, Heritage Hills tonight. So, they're young. They play 4 sophomores a lot. And they have a couple senior guards that started last year. So they've got some stability in the backcourt, which is always nice. So we've got a few films on them. It's not a big sample size, but obviously we're gonna talk about some things they do, but we really still got to keep focusing. I thought on their pods, and I think we had 9 turnovers. And against a team that team played 6 of their top 8 are seniors. The guys that have played in a lot of games, a lot of big games, a lot of big moments.
Sure.
And you can't replace that kind of experience. But I thought we handled it. Late in the game, they were trapping, and we got the ball too low in the corner versus getting it on the wing. And, just got in a bad spot and had a couple turnovers on that. But I thought for the most part we did a good job of valuing the basketball.
Right.
And we have to continue to do that. We're not good enough, nor are most teams, to turn over 20 times against anybody and come out on top. So that was another positive. So we're going to keep working on us. We got a short turnaround, but, we play. It's an afternoon affair Saturday with Boonville.
Yep.
And so, we'll talk about them a little bit, like I said, but we're really, we're encouraged tonight as a staff and something to build on. And it's I hurt for them, when you put a lot into something and it doesn't come out, it hurts,
Right.
it hurts. And so I hope it hurts. I hope they understand that, that's the kind of effort and intensity you got to have to be successful at the varsity level. So we're still growing and heading in the right direction, hopefully.
Well, Saturday we expect the energy and effort to be
We hope so, yeah, no doubt about it.
All right. Well, hey, good job, Jason.
Thanks,
and
Greg.
tough loss, but great effort by the team tonight.
Thank you.
All right. So the Jasper Wildcats, again, taking on the number 1 team in 1A, the Barr Reeve Vikings, and just come up short. A 3-pointer hit at the buzzer, and that was hit by Tommy Kidwell. Or not at the buzzer, right? They 1.9 left, but still. 56-54. So quick rundown of the scoring. Kurt Hove, who fouled out of the basketball game, but still led the Vikings with 20 points. 12 points for Bryson Graber, 8 points for Devin Graber, 3 points for Caden Graber, and off the bench, 5 points for Jameson Miller, and Tommy Kidwell finishes with 8 3-pointers, but of course the big one that he hit from the corner to win this basketball game. Jasper, 2 players in double figures, led by Isaac Day's 16 points, 13 points off the bench for Carter Mundy, 6 for Tanner Ernie, 6 points for Berger, and 9 points for Gus Heichelbeck. And Connor Foley chipped in 3 himself off the bench. So Wildcats will be in an afternoon game against the Boonville Pioneers. It's a makeup of the postponement from the game that was originally scheduled back on December 18th. So that'll be a 2:30 tip-off for the varsity and a 1 o'clock tip-off for the JV. So Jasper falls to 4-12 on the season. Barr Reeve improves to 17-2. So for Jason Stamm and Jeremy Markos on the video, my name is Craig Schneider. This is Wildcat Basketball here on 18 WJTS. Good night.
This has been a presentation of 18 WJTS Sports.